Hello everybody, this is Dr. Ben here with Line of Spine Chiropractic. Right now we're at Metroflex MKE. We're with Jordan Plantiko and his client Abel here. And we just got done with both an ARP neuro treatment and an ARP neuro performance. So we did an ARP neuro treatment first because Abel was having shoulder issues, in particular impingement, right? And I just AC joint. Yep, and we just found out when he was in high school during fofootball, he did injure the left shoulder, which would have been nice to know going into it.
I don't know why.
No, grade 1, grade 2, we're not entirely certain what the extent of the damage was, but he remembered conveniently after the end of everything that this happened, and so Jordan typically has Abel start out with an arsenal strength lateral raise.
So ultimately, we usually start with Abel for biasing delts. We usually start with an isolation movement, some kind of side lateral variation. It's usually the arsenal strength, and then we move into a compound movement, and then we hit another isolation movement on the back end. But when we're first warming up, sometimes we run into some impingement issues on that arsenal strength machine, which we didn't experience this time using the ARP neuro.
Yep. So we went through a treatment protocol, and then we actually intentionally had him load up with no stim at the end. We have a video showing that. So we did loaded with no stim, and can you talk about what happened with that?
Sure. So loaded definitely just felt better range of motion, much more clear. Maybe justified is the right word or whatever, but it felt like you were moving with intent, where normally it felt like you wanted to move, or I wanted to move with intent, but then you get that impingement and that tight, not fun pinch. But by, I think did we do 8 sets total? 8 sets, and by 3 to 4 for sure, it was no pain at the top, and I mean the whole second half of the range of movement was just fun, and shoulders were firing instead of screaming at me. So that was
And that's the goal with the ARP neuro treatment, is we want to be able to have patients and clients be able to go through a movement without pain. So we're treating dysfunctional tissue. And then after the ARP neuro treatment, then we go through an ARP neuro performance, which Jordan kind of takes the reins on that, and I'm just there to assist. So can you just quickly kind of go through the ARP neuro performance today after the treatment?
Yeah, ultimately, So with the neuro performance, basically, like I mentioned, like we ran through our typical order of exercises, but this time we didn't have to manipulate load as often. We manipulated current instead, which ultimately takes a lot of wear and tear off the connective tissue itself. We're able to load the muscle with a decent amount of weight, but really just stimulate and increase tension within the particular muscle group that we're training, way more than we would otherwise be able to, just cognitively trying to dial in and try and position ourselves to bias that muscle. We can still adjust positioning to make sure that the right muscles are firing, but tension is no longer a questionable variable. It's always going.
Yeah. And not only that, going back to the load, by having decreased load on the joints, we can actually save the joints, right? And this is very important in earlier phases of training. So you've been training, 10 something years, right? And as you get older and older, that's going to have more of an impact on you, right? If you're doing heavy loads all the time for years and years and years. And so now we can take that strain off the joints and let the muscles fire the way they should be firing. And that's the goal. And not only that, fire way more than you could do on your own. So this is session upon session upon session packed into one session. And we want that efficiency.
That was definitely what I would say too, was you can adjust the stimulation, but continuous intense stimulation, muscle stimulation, where you work out, you feel like that last set, that drop set always feels really good, but now you pretty much had that right from the get-go. So yeah.
Awesome.
With minimal weight again, which is pretty nice on the joints.
Awesome. And would you do this again?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Awesome. And from a treatment and a performance standpoint as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, and I think a lot of people, like when we get into this this realm of we have this access to this technology, a lot of people want to use that for the performance end, but you really got to remember that the recovery and the treatment is also very important. So we want to be treating as well. We have to have both that yin and the yang in order to get the full
Entourage.
that full impact of what we're trying to accomplish here. So yeah, I think that's it. If you guys have anything else you want to add at the end.
I'm good.
Yeah,
I
good.
said my piece.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, awesome. Signing off. Take care.